defying Imperial law and openly inciting civil discord. I thought we had an understanding, Senator.
I refuse to be your puppet. My loyalty is to the people, not the Empire.
An unwise choice. Regardless, we will acquire what we need from you.
Your draconian tactics won't work on me, Captain Bragg.
That would be a first.
Senator, I followed your instructions to the letter.
I knew you'd come through, GS8.
And behold, I have saved your most prized vase.
Great. Now can we get out of here?
With pleasure.
An alert has been triggered. Our position has been compromised. Follow us.
Join me. Together, we can rule the galaxy far from the sun.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them.
Hello there, Space Wizards, Plastic Spacemen, and Rebel Princesses. This is Todd Hoffman and Trent Hoffman. This Big T, Little T, a Star Wars podcast. Welcome to episode 62. Tonight, we are going to be talking about episode 10 of Bad Batch, Common Ground. Unfortunately, Trent can't make it with me today, but we got a great episode ahead of us. Great week, 4th of July, got an extra day off, which is nice. So I hope everyone had a great 4th of July and they didn't pull a, something with a firework and lost a limb like many Star Wars characters have. But yeah, we had a great 4th. Really looking forward to the back half of summer. I can't believe it's already halfway over with summer, because July 4th kind of marks it for the school year and all that. Once again, big shout out to Kerwin and Keith from Father and Son, a Star Wars podcast. They came on our show last week, episode 61, and Trent and I had a blast. So we already kind of planned it. We're going to do kind of a Bad Batch recap here after episode 16. So super excited to have him on the show. So if you haven't checked it out, please check out episode 61 as our guest. And we talked about episode 9. So there you go, of Bad Batch. So that was a lot of fun. And wow, Loki. I'm super excited for Loki tomorrow. This episode, we're recording this on Tuesday. So Wednesday, Loki comes out. But shoot, episode 4 was ridiculous. So Loki is doing the whole time travel thing and kind of jumping in and out of time, and it's hard. This is a little difficult show for Trent to follow a little bit, but he enjoys it. We have fun. I think it's very well acted. I just love the interaction with all the different characters. And episode 4 was called Nexus Event. It aired last week, June 30th, and this one, I didn't know where it was going. It was pretty cool, but essentially we have Sylvie, who is the girl Loki. She is trying to figure out what to do. They're trying to get off this planet that is exploding, imploding. There's a moon coming in and crashing on it. The special effects on these are just ridiculous. It is so much fun to see such a high quality special effects on a TV show. I just can't believe all the world building that they do with these shows is unbelievable. It looks fantastic. So they think they're gonna get out of there, or not get out of there, but Mobius essentially saves Loki. They get him out. They find out the variant, because as the two Lokis touch, the girl Loki and Loki, they create a Nexus event. And so they're able to track him down. Loki and Mobius have this kind of moment, and essentially Mobius puts him in kind of a time loop, and he keeps on getting, he basically cuts the hair off this girl that he's with, and he gets punched in the face, and it's on repeat. And so Loki finally comes to his senses, I guess, or something, and Mobius comes and says, okay, we need to help out. They team up, and part of this too is that Hunter B15, she understands that she saw something in her prior life. And one of the things that Loki found out in the previous episode is that all the people in the TVA are variants and they had something prior, but now their mind is wiped and they're working for the TVA and they don't even know it. This is somewhat hinted with Mobius' character because he really just loves a jet ski and he has a magazine of a jet ski, and there's this things like, I don't know, it just seems awesome that they have this thing. The girl Loki captures TVA agent and is trying to get information off of that, and you find out that she has a prior life to the TVA, and essentially they offer, which is interesting, but then Mobius boss and them are like, hey, we got to get this taken care of. They have both the girl Loki and Loki, and they're going to take him to the Timekeepers. This is cool. This is kind of a cool little thing. They have this fight, and essentially trying to get the upper hand. B15 comes back from a time thing and like kind of saves the day in a sense and helps them out. And then we get this whole like kind of Wizard of Oz thing. The Timekeepers are there. There's 3 of them. They look shocked, but they're not moving. And essentially, we find out they're like, it's like Showbiz Pizza. It's like, or Wizard of Oz or whatever you want to put. They're androids. They're not the real deal. It's crazy. And so, yeah, it was really interesting. But at the end, Mobius's boss, I forget her name, but essentially, I think it's Ang. I don't know what it is, but she basically revives all of a sudden and stabs Loki in the back. Loki like kind of disappears and dies, and you're like, what the heck? And there's a little beat at the end, and yeah, it is a couple different Lokis. One looks like a cosplay old man Loki. One Loki is like an alligator Loki or whatever, and another one is an African American Loki. And it's like, I don't know, it's crazy. It looks great. I don't know how the original Loki stayed alive, but yeah, it's definitely got my interest peaked. And really, I think we only got 6 episodes of Loki, so we're at 4. We only got 2 more, so I'm really interested to see where this goes. I think again, we're going to see the real Timekeepers real soon and not the Showbiz Pizza thing or Chuck E. Cheese or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, that was really cool. Lego Masters are back. It took a week break, but now, no pun intended there, but week break. And then now we came back to, this is the 4th episode, I believe. And really cool. They essentially suspended one Technic brick over these 2 wires, and they had to build around it. Unbelievable as far as like bouncing and all this stuff. And there was a couple builds that are really, really impressive. And it was pretty awesome. Brian and Lauren, I think they did. No, it was Zach and Wayne. Zach and Wayne did this huge, like, sperm whale squid thing that was ridiculous. It looked amazing. They're in the top contention, and Mark and Steven did this kind of cool butterfly like gnome thing that was suspended and had multiple levels and stuff like that. It was really, really, really cool. And so those 2 were safe, obviously, but then Mark and Steven actually won, and the gold brick was in contention, so they got the gold brick. Very cool. But then there was essentially the girls that won last week, Natalie and Michelle, were in the bottom too. They just felt like their build was hidden and couldn't really see a lot of story elements. But then it was Sarita and Randall that left. They had a cool hot air balloon. It was really huge and it looked really cool, but the judges didn't think it had enough detail to make the cut. So yeah, that was Lego Masters. I'm really excited. I think it's gonna be off for another 2 weeks because I think we got baseball coming up or whatever. So but they're gonna do they teased that they're gonna do like a demolition derby. So pretty excited about that. I think every challenge is very unique. This one was very interesting. I just couldn't believe like all the builds that they did just with this one Technic brick. But yeah, it was a super fun episode. If you're not checking it out, it's a super fun show. Will Arnett just kills it. I think he's a fantastic host and really does a really good job of all just kind of being loose with the contestants, and it's super fun. I really enjoy that part of the show. All right, well, we are here to talk about Bad Batch. So Bad Batch, we're at season 1, episode 10, Common Ground. Again, these descriptions are really short, but essentially the official description is the Batch has their ideology challenged. And so I really enjoyed this episode. Bad Batch continues to surprise me as far as where they're going, as far as just a little bit more exploring some of the, how can you put it, the different elements of Star Wars that don't get discussed enough. And so this one is interesting because they go to the planet Raxus, and essentially who's there is this Captain Bragg, who is essentially a senator for the Confederacy of Independent Systems, you know, and COIS or CIS. And he is with the Empire. They're essentially putting him in a puppet position where he is going to, even though he is a senator, he really doesn't have any say. And they're just going to put him in this kind of leadership role, but all he has to do is follow follow the law of the Empire. He doesn't. He's trying to go along with it. He has a cool RAA-7 droid. He's kind of I think that would be the Death Star protocol droid, but it's a RA-7 unit. Really cool design. I believe this droid is called GS-8. And so as the Empire's kind of rallying the people around Raxus, we have clone troopers. We have these ATTEs that we've seen the Clone Wars use quite a bit. And yeah, it is essentially kind of like an Empire Day in a sense, where they're saying, hey, people of Raxus, this is what we're doing. And your Captain Bragg will be here, your senator. And Bragg is like, what am I doing here? I don't know if I like this. And so essentially he is just making sure he has a backup plan. His plan B is with GS-8. And so he decides to buck it and say, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm not standing for the Empire. And he sends GS-8 away, and now he gets into trouble with the Empire. And so I forget the lieutenant or whoever that's there, but essentially she is interrogating him and giving him basically holding him prisoner. And yeah, they're not playing nice. He's not playing nice. So it is GS-8 that is the hero of the day, and makes a call to Sid, our favorite Trandoshan. Yeah. She is obviously on Ord Mantell, and there's the Bad Batch ready to go. And they find out right away, this is somebody that needs to be high official on Raxus. They know that that's a Confederacy of Independent Systems planet, and there's mixed feelings about it. Like, yeah, I don't know if we want to do this. They have, but Sid's like, a job's a job, and they'll pay credits, and you still owe me money. Hunter is concerned with Omega's welfare, basically because of all the recent events with Cad Bane and Fennec Shand chasing after her. And so she wants Hunter wants Omega to stay behind. Omega's hesitant but understands. And so Sid's like, I got her. I can watch her. As soon as the Bad Batch leave, Sid is like, hey, scrub the bar, do some stuff, which is pretty funny. The team makes their jump to hyperspace, and we have this kind of cool conversation on the ship, and they're very hesitant about Echo is really not digging going to Raxus, and is troubled by, why are we helping a separatist? And I think this is really cool as far as like, now you're in this kind of gray level as far as like, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to what makes this right for us to help this other person out? And even though they were playing on the other side. And so, yeah, it's super interesting. I think it really plays with Echo, but at the end of the day, they're like, hey, it's a job, let's do it. But it's really stretching their abilities to understand, like, okay, there's other things going on. They're technically not the bad guys anymore, because now the Republic is the Empire. It's this whole thing that I think is a very interesting dynamic and doesn't get explored often. I'm glad that they took the time to kind of explore this with the characters. So they meet the droid, and they're surprised that the contact is a droid. Essentially, we have a sneak in kind of extraction mission here. So it's kind of cool seeing the Bad Batch in stealth mode, and they use GS8 a couple times as a distraction. There's a little gag as far as like, they almost knocked over this kind of precious heirloom vase, and so GS8 is like, hey, this is really big thing for Captain Bragg, and he really likes this, and so she kept it. They get into where they're at, deep into the palace that they're holding him hostage, and they infiltrate the base, get everything done, get him out. And then they commandeer an ATTE, which is fantastic. There's this cool little sequence. They get the droid, and Bragg out, which is cool. And then we kind of cut back real quick to Omega and Sid, and they find out, she's kind of moping around. Sid's Omega feels displaced because she's not part of the crew. And so Sid's like, hey, just sitting this one out. You have to make yourself useful. And she understands that that she loves strategy. And so they play a little Dejarik, which is kind of cool, the hollow chess game. And it's kind of cool that Sid then sees, as she Sid and the Weequay and Ithorian are, well, Sid's playing the Weequay, the Ithorian's watching, the two guys that always are in her bar, which I think is awesome. They're always fighting, but they love each other, whatever. I love those two. So Omega helps out Sid, and Sid sees the potential of making some coin. So she puts Omega on point to do this hollow chess stuff, which is kind of cool. So they infiltrate the palace, they get him out, they come back, and which is kind of cool, is that they have to trust the senator. The senator basically says, hey, Bragg says, hey, go into this corner. They're like, it's a dead end, but he says there is a sewer or some kind of back alley that they can use, in a sense. So they get the ATTE is shot down. Tech has to repair it. They get out of that. They do a lot of maneuvering to get the ATT to this location where Bragg says. They blow up this certain wall, and they're in this into this kind of cavern tunnel system, and they get him out of there. I think at this point, I think that's when GS8 uses the vase to break one of the clone troopers as they are escaping. They get into the thing, and they get back to the shuttle. Here's a very interesting point too with Bragg. He's like, what am I doing? Why am I running away? I should be helping out my people. And this is where Echo steps in, and the whole Bad Batch kind of step in. Is like, you have to leave to fight another day. If you stay here, you're going to get captured again, and you're not going to be any help. So it's kind of interesting that we see the clones kind of change their mind about what they're doing, and what that they're not enemies anymore. Like, hey, you have to fight this a different way. So I really enjoy that. I think that's really cool. So they get on the shuttle, and they're good to go. And then obviously we switch back to Omega. She is cleaning house and taking names and winning money for Sid. Hunter is upset because she is making a scene, and kind of upset with Sid. Like, hey, we're trying to keep her on the DL, but you are bringing her out and making, people are like jamming into the Sid's bar to find out what's going on in the Mega. And then Hunter's kind of mad at Omega. This is where it's kind of cool it's showing a softer side to Hunter. He essentially says, hey, he kind of sees that it upsets Omega, and he's like, okay, let's play a game with this newfound skill of yours, and we will see if you can beat me, and we won't hold you back, and you'll be with us on our missions. And so there's a fun little banter going back and forth between Omega and Hunter here, and I just think there's a cool kind of tenderness to Hunter that we're starting to see as he kind of takes on more of this kind of almost mentor-parent role with Omega, which again is not really explored too much. And I think that kind of always goes back to when they hooked up with Cut, the Cut and Run episode, and he kind of explains to Hunter, like, children are different, and they're not, how you talk to them, how to communicate is different than a soldier. And so Hunter's really kind of seeing that and playing that out, which is very, very cool. So yeah, they essentially, at the end, Omega accepts the challenge, and they sit down and play some Dejarik and end credits. So really cool episodes, cool seeing Raxus, cool seeing this conflict between separatists versus the old the Republic with the clones, Bad Batch, and this definitely, if you play Battlefront, this definitely has some Battlefront vibes as they're infiltrating the city. It's kind of has that just that kind of Battlefront 2 kind of vibes, and it's kind of cool. So I definitely dig that. And Bragg was an interesting character. I thought he was cool. And again, you're seeing this. You have to bend a little bit here in this new kind of era, and it's just super interesting. Again, we still have a lot to still explore here, but I'm gonna be a broken record. They gotta ditch the clone armor sooner or later to blend in more, but they're still doing their thing. I definitely will see Crosshair again. We're going to have to see Tarkin again. There's still a lot of variables out there. It's just, I like every week. It definitely we're building out the universe more. We're going to see different planets. We're going to see different, like in this one specifically, we're seeing different ideology about the war. This is very, very Clone Wars-ish. because we see that, that's one of the cool things about the Clone Wars is that we get to explore other parts and facets of the war. And again, explosions and cool stuff is, laser swords and all that stuff is, that's Star Wars. But these kind of little different, this has had a good mix of action and just kind of chew on some thoughts here kind of episode. So I really did enjoy the pacing of this episode. Fantastic, really well done. So there you have it. That is Bad Batch Common Ground. I think that's a wrap for today. So thanks again for listening to another episode of Big T and Little T, a Star Wars podcast. You can find us on the socials. We got Big T, Little T podcast on Instagram, BLILT podcast on Twitter. And then we're on Twitch as we're streaming here, twitch.tv, Big T, Little T. You can find us there. Hey, if you comment, tweet, rate us a 5-star rating on the Apple Podcast, and you tweet that out or email us. Well, you take a screenshot of that. Hey, we got some stickers we want to send right in your face. Hey, here's a sticker for you. Or you can just email us. Tell us how the what you thought of the latest episode of Bad Batch, and that could be, you can do that at Big T Little T podcast@gmail.com. If you drop us a question, we will definitely also throw a sticker your way. We would love to hear from you and what's your thoughts on this pretty deep episode. Again, next week we're gonna continue to cover Bad Batch Weekly. So next week is no exception. We got episode 11 coming up from Bad Batch. So super excited to talk through that. Hey, if you are in the Chicagoland area and you want to get your geek on, you got to go to Alley Cat Comics. That is downtown and Chicago, Andersonville, July 10th. It's right around the corner. We're literally 4 days away from this, and from this recording, it will probably be 3 days when you listen to this, but it's Saturday, July 10th, and it's from 12 to 4. And we have Dominic Pace from The Mandalorian. He is the Gecko. He can be seen in episode 1 and I believe episode 3 of season 1. And he plays a bounty hunter. And he's an actor, friend of the show. He is going to be there at Alley Cat Comics to support local businesses, do some autographs, pictures, the whole 9. We will have hopefully some 501st representation from the Midwest Garrison. So I will be out there help supporting this, and there's going to be a bunch of other podcasts. We have Scared Scuttlebutt, Jedi Temple Archives, Rebel Base Cards. They're all going to be there to help support this cool event. Hey, and it's like the summer in Chicago. We might as well melt our faces off and doing some Star Wars. So again, if you're in the Chicagoland area, you want to come hang out, see Dominic Pace, and get your geek on, that is Alley Cat Comics in Andersonville, and it's July 10th, Saturday, July 10th, from 12 to 4 p.m. So yeah, I'm super stoked, looking forward to that, and there you have it. So if I don't see you out on Saturday, we'll catch you up on the next episode of Bad Batch. We always end the show, truly wonderful the mind of a child is. And there's only one way to end this. May the Force be with you always. Bye. See you later. Bye, 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 bye.
We've never been to Raxus before.
The coordinates from Sid have us landing outside the capital city of Raxalon, the home of their senate.
I can't believe we're helping a separatist senator.
So you have said. Repeatedly.
I always thought we'd make it to Raxus someday. But not like this.
And that's a wrap.